Y'all the ones who talk the most shit.
We're live on Facebook.
What y'all got to say tonight?
Waiting on YouTube. And we're live on YouTube.
So we're live on Twitter and Facebook. Hello, Twitter. Hello, Facebook.
We're live on everything. Take it away.
All right. We are live. Yeah, baby. We live. Welcome to another Oakland Poetry Slam. We are here every third Tuesday on the internets. But before we get into our show, today's show is brought to you by our support from our generous patrons and viewers like you. Shout out to PBS. This show, while super rewarding, still has to abide by the merciless rules of capitalism. So every contribution given to us helps Rich Oak Events plan, budget, and ensure that we are paying our feature artists, supporting local art writers, providing a space for the East Bay community to enjoy live art. So I would like to give a shout out to our patrons, Jessica Kozakic, Emily Chow, Kalela Lee, and Renee Edmonds. Thank you so much, in particular to Renee Edmonds, Emily Chow, and Kalela Lee for being regular sponsors. Thank you for Jessica Kozakic for sponsoring our weekly workshops. And a special shout out to Alice Grimm for pledging $100 a month in support of one of our venues, the Allen Bluford Center. It's been about a year now rocking with us. Thank you so much. We've been able to give a lot of money to help the center stay open. So thank you so much for rocking with us for a year. But if you like anything that you hear tonight, or you just love the arts and want to support a Black ran nonprofit, arts nonprofit, then you can head over to patreon.com/Rich Oak Events. There you can sign up for different tiers from anywhere between $2 a month to $100 a month. Any contribution you give helps us meet our goals, pay our venues, and give back to our community. If this interests you, please head over to patreon.com/Rich Oak Events. Or if you cannot donate monthly, we also take one-time donations via Cash App at #Rich Oak Events, as well as at Venmo at Rich Oak Slam. But we thank you so much for your support. And now on with the show. Gang, 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 gang. So tonight we have a very special show to you, for you today. Tonight we are bringing back, if y'all remember back in the old days when we could have a live shows, we used to have a slam and an open mic. We haven't had an open mic in a while, and half our performers just decided not to show up. So today we are bringing back our open mic for one night and one night only, but we have 6 amazing poets who are performing, as well as a kick-ass feature. If y'all have not heard of Ashia Ajani, you are missing out. But all of that is happening tonight. But first, we have a few ground rules. Number one, for the poets, y'all can do whatever you want. This is open mic and not a poetry competition, so you can sing, you can dance, you can do music. We have somebody play a drum, we have people play saxophones and trumpets, whatever you want to do, as long as you can fit it within a 5-minute time frame. That is your time limit for today. After 5 minutes, because we are giving you more time, there is no grace period. After 5 minutes, you will be muted so that we can keep things going along. I really don't want to have to mute people. It's really fucking awkward. It's just suddenly you're doing your thing, doing your poetry thing, or playing your music, and then suddenly I have to talk now, and I'm not prepared to talk. You were not prepared to end your performance. The audience wasn't prepared for whatever the fuck went on. And it's just awkward for everybody. So we ask that you stick to the 5-minute time limit so that we can respect people who are performing from different time zones and such and such. But those are the rules for the poets. For the audience, yes, you have rules. I am going to tell you what to do in your own home. First, like, share, and subscribe to our Instagram and Twitter at the Oakland Slam, and at our Facebook at the Oakland Poetry Slam. Comment on the feed. Let the poets know how much you love the poems. The more enthusiastic that y'all can be, the more we feel that love. We don't have a stage anymore. We don't have an audience. We live for audience reaction, and we get that through the comment section. So let us know how you feel. And number 3 for y'all, the audience, is freedom of speech. Poets will be coming up here and saying whatever the fuck they want. But freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. So if you hear something fucked up, say something, start that conversation. The biggest thing about poetry is that it is a learning experience for everyone. And the only way we can learn from each other is if we feel comfortable talking to each other. And in order to do that, we need to feel comfortable being able to say what's on our mind. So just know that things you might hear might upset you. They might make you think. They might make you laugh. They might let you cry. But people are going to come up here and express the truest version of themselves that they wish to share with you. Because, you know, we all got our secrets. We all got our demons. But today, we all have our poetry. So, our list, we have a kick-ass list today. Our list goes, we have Nicole Tracy, followed by Casey Harper, followed by Rosie, then Tino, then we have our amazing feature, and then we are end our night off with Reggie, followed by Prophet, and then ending everything off will be Colin. Show love to everybody coming up to the stage. Applause. All right. So when I say on deck, that means you are not coming up now, but you will be after this poet. So get ready, maybe turn on your camera. But on deck, we have Casey Harper. But coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to the first poet of our open mic. Give it up for Nicole Tracy. Woo!
Gang, 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 gang.
Yay!
Yay!
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Rad. So I have two pieces for y'all, one very short and one very long. This first one, it's Women's History Month. Go read a book, go learn something. But this is kind of inspired by my feminist philosophy classes. Simone de Beauvoir enters my contemporary continental philosophy class, and she is thrilled to see my professor calls her more important than Sartre. Simone confesses to their chaotic relationship. History did memorialize her because of him, and she smiles and laughs, telling me that even the smartest of men, especially the smartest of men, can't stand a woman who is smarter than him. She leans in and whispers, "A man will try and make you the crazy one. Observe his tricks, act surprised, and do just that. Do not react to him cheating. Find someone else too." She takes over the lesson, gives us the real inside scoop on feminist existentialism, and not what the male gaze remembers her for. And isn't it ironic how she wrote about how women are only seen as important in relation to men, and that is what history remembers her for?
Wow, yeah.
Thank you. And here's my second one. I want to give a content warning for sexual assault, body dysmorphia, and self-harm in this one. Origin story of my relationship to my body. Observation 1. I do not look like my mother. We both have dark hair, but it is so different. Hers is always down, straight, flattened. Mine, a mess, evidence of a 6-year-old playground adventure. My hair braided or put in pigtails anytime my grandmother can get her hands on it. I do not mind because it makes her happy. Hypothesis. If you let your grandmother do your hair, then you will make her happy. Question. Is this because she misses helping her children? Observation 2. I do not remember my father before I was 5. I know we looked similar as children, but grew apart. I even mistook photos of us when we were both small children. I grew up and do not recognize either child in these photos. I wonder now if this is history warning me. Hypothesis. If you keep your child at a distance, then you will grow apart. Question. Is there a way to prevent family history from repeating itself? Observation 3. None of my dolls look like me. Barbie, all long legs, dainty and feminine. I loved my skin knees and loose teeth until then. She was meant to be timeless, smiles, silent, ageless, an aspiration for girls to grow into. Her favorite activity, going shopping. I wonder how Barbie earned her money. Ken was never around, so maybe she was a trophy wife. I never wanted to be just beautiful smiles and silence. Hypothesis. If girls are supposed to love their dolls, then we are not meant to love what makes us different from her. Question. Is Barbie why I hate traditionally feminine things? Observation 4. I spend an absurd amount of time in front of mirrors until it is no longer a body looking back at me. It is feet too tired of breaking into shoes, legs forcing a turnout on a bruised knee begging for a break. I forget I am not just pieces needing to be perfected. Hypothesis. If I forget what makes me myself, then it is easier to change into who I should be. Question: how long will I blame myself for being afraid to change? Observation 5. I keep being told I'm sexy for my body. I am made to be the target. I must always be defensive to protect myself. But I think somewhere along the way, I forgot that, and now I'm against myself too. Mirrors from observation 4 show me what made me the target and what needs perfecting. I do not feel like myself and must make myself disappear. Hypothesis: if I do not feel like myself, then I can pretend this hurts someone else. Question: if I was shown what made me the target, is it still my fault when violence is inflicted? Observation 6. I still remember where every hand was every time I said no. I wonder if I will ever forget where bruises were. Instead, I distract my mind and put permanent ink over faded pain. Sleeping through the night is something I will never not be thankful for anymore. I have to tell every intimate partner why I burst into tears for things they do not know. Hypothesis: if healing is a process, then sometimes I will write in past, present, and future tenses, and all of these are true. Answer: yes. Some days are easy and some are hard, but it doesn't mean I have survived any less.
All right,
Awesome.
give it up one more time for Nicole Tracy. Gang, 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 gang,
Let's
gang,
go, let's
gang,
go, let's go, let's
gang.
go,
What
let's
a great way to kick
go.
off
Gang, 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 gang.
open mic. And Nicole was also in our writing workshop earlier today. We have writing workshops before all of our shows. So every third Tuesday at 7 o'clock via Zoom. Our Zoom link is always in on our Instagram, on our Facebook, and Twitter. You can join us for guided writing prompts. We've had workshops on artist career development, revising poems. We're planning some performance workshops in the future. So definitely come by and write with us. Don't just, sit by and view poetry, be poetry. You have to be the poetry. But let's move along with our show. On deck, we have Rosie, but coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to Casey Harper. Woo!
Gang, 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 gang.
Woo! Hi, everyone.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Today I have 2 poems for you. I'm going to start off with one that is a little bit, I guess, more on the harsh side. So, and then I'll move into more positivity. Your tongue lashes out sharply, salty words that burn. I check to ensure that my heart still beats after you've unleashed your latest attacks. You claim to be protecting yourself, but what are you doing to me? Your words shot across the bow of my heart, slicing through muscles of emotions, tearing through layers of our history, scarring deep, leaving behind a wound forever visible, a reminder of what happened here. The pages of our past could have filled a library, each year an encyclopedia. But you brought a canister of gasoline, poured the liquid on the foundation of our relationship, reached into your back pocket, pulled a packet out and lit a match. Your words erupted fire, torched love down until the smoke choked out every last hope of healing between us. The walls of our emotional library are tarnished, burned beyond repair. Volumes of memory burned to a crisp today. There is nothing but ash here. The words "I'm sorry" are not an effective tourniquet. They cannot stop the bleeding from the bullets of hate-fueled lies when they pass by my ears and bury themselves deep into the chest cavity, cradling my heart. Because when the heart heals from trauma, it never quite looks the same as it did before. Its perfect pre-trauma state forever changed.
Woo! Yes.
A letter to my baby niece. You are 1 month old, fresh faced and excited to take on the world. You are filled with joy and hope, and you haven't met the monster that they call fear. Your mother is an aspen rooted strongly in the earth, tall enough to reach the sky and gently flex when the breeze entangles her. Your father is a river. His strength is his calming presence, leading into the chaos of forested life. May you learn to reach beyond your needs so that the stars are always within grasp, that you never fear your own voice, so that you speak up without hesitation. May you learn to embrace the wind, understanding that winds of resistance can be transformed into winds of change. And one day, if home doesn't feel like a safe place to bury your secrets or spill your heart, may you find comfort here. My door is always open to you. May you always know that someone loves you, even from a distance. May you always feel that you have a place to go, a person to turn to, and a meal waiting for you. To my baby niece, I don't know what your future holds, but I know that the sapling of an aspen with roots buried deep in the strong river is bound to grow entrenched in earthly wisdom. Thanks.
Woo.
Yes, let's go, poet.
Give it up one more time for Casey Harper.
Yeah.
We have a fire open mic so far. I'm loving it. I'm feeling it. I'm like, ba 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 ba. I think Reggie said that earlier, but I'm loving it. It is great. Oh my gosh, is this your first time performing here?
Here, yes.
Yes, give it up for first timers. We love people touching our stage for the first time. We really hope that you come back. Yes, so we love it. We love it. Thank you so much for gracing our stage. That was great. And I can be unbiased as a host. This is not a competition. Yes. Oh, that was great. I love the imagery that you put into your poetry. It really sucks people into what is happening. All right. So on deck, we have Tino, but coming to the stage right now, give maximum love to Rosie.
Woo! Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
We can see you.
Okay, well, I look toe up right now, so I don't want to put the camera on. Do I have to?
In order to spotlight you, yes. Is there?
Oh, all right. My God, really? Hold on. Okay. Now, I got two of them for you. This is my first time, so bear with me. You guys ready?
You got this, poet.
Okay. We're each born in this world full of innocence at birth. We live in a world full of corruption and anger we call Earth. Our innocence slowly fades away. We see this shit every day. Some try to do better and change their life. Others let the pain cut through them like a knife. You meet very few loyal people here. They hardly exist. There is no humble people here. They're all fucking pissed. Mad the drugs fucked up their mind. Mad because their heart's been broken. Love is blind. Mad because they lost their way. Mad because they're in debt and can't fucking pay. Mad because their kids are wild. Angry because their spouse acts like a child. Angry because they can't buy a home or a car. Some drink their problems away. You'll find them at a local bar. Some numb their pain with the hot shot to the vein. Some smoke trees to forget how hard life got. Their excuse is always, oh yeah, I forgot. Some snort cocaine to numb life and all its bullshit. Others pack the piss and take a hit. They feel like it helps in some way, yet all it's doing is bringing them closer to their judgment day. We live in a world full of junkies, alcoholics, killers, and thieves. Sick-minded rapists who thrive on seeing you grieve. Good-hearted people are rare and hard to come by. In life, when we should be laughing, instead we cry. We all have problems. No one's perfect or flawless, not a chance. We choose to ignore the Lord because with the devil we dance. Some people are strong. They can handle what life throws their way. Others choose to see an early judgment day. They take their own life because the weight on their shoulders feels like a ton. They look around and they feel like they have no one. They search for the slightest glimpse of hope, only to find fake friends hooked on dope. They contemplate everything in their mind. They contemplate everything in their head. They quietly whisper, no one will even notice if I'm dead. They reach out in hopes to find just one loyal friend. Instead, they find fake smiles, so pretend. They usually try hard to fix it before they go, but by the time anyone realizes it, they already got a tag on their toe. At that very moment, people realize, damn, I didn't realize she felt like dying. They were too selfish and self-centered to hear her crying. No one ever sees death coming, but when it's here, you'll know. Guess it was your time to go. Some learn from this experience and cherish everything they used to have and chose to ignore. No one really knows what life has in store. So if by chance you see your loved one giving up on it all, try and catch them before they fall. That's it. Sorry about the bad words.
No, it's all good.
You're good. It's an open mic.
All right. And then this one is 1 second. Okay, shit, hold on. I don't know if it's do okay. Okay. God damn it. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's all good. Take your time.
Fuck. Oh my god. I'm trying to get one with not a lot of bad words.
I curse like a sailor.
No,
It is
sorry.
totally fine.
Okay,
Our
really?
show is based in the Bay. You're fine.
Okay. All right, let me do this one. Let's see. Shit. Okay, let me see. I got something bothering me in the back of my head. Something someone said. First of all, First of all, she thinks she's top notch. She told me, no, I don't want to read that one. But I'm sorry. I'm not even prepared. I'm hella sorry. It's my first time. I'm sorry. Shit.
It's all good. You got this.
I'm nervous. Sorry. Okay, here it is. This one's cool. This one's like safe. All you young moms, beautiful, intelligent mommies out there, I've got a link. Hold on. Okay, life goes on. This world keeps turning. All you mommies will keep on striving and learning. No one ever said it would be easy. It's fucking hard. No lie. There's gonna be days when you just want to break down and cry. Sometimes we win, other times we lose. Nobody has the right to judge you. They ain't walked a day in your shoes. Don't let negative people bring you down. Ignore them and shine. You're doing your very best, and sweetheart, that's just fine. Your whole world changed the day you gave birth. You created a life that now walks this earth. That's a miraculous, amazing thing that you were a major part of. That's why they say there's nothing stronger than a mother's love. Be proud of your baby. Teach them right from wrong. Never give up on them. Guide them along. We need to focus and open our eyes. Sometimes we fail to realize our kids merely do is what they know. So be mindful of what they see as they grow. Teach them to respect one another. Their actions will later on reflect you as a mother. If you have a baby boy, then do the best you can, but keep in mind you're raising a man. If you're raising a baby girl, teach her to respect others, but more importantly, to respect yourself overall. Teach her to be independent and always stand tall. Teach them to love, teach them loyalty, consideration, teach them to be humble. Be there to catch them if they stumble. Remember, you're all they have since their date of birth. You created them, don't leave them here on earth. They need you more than you know. Love them, cherish them, watch them grow. That's it.
Hey.
Let's go.
Next time I'll be prepared, you guys.
It's all
You got this.
right. Thank you so much. Give it up one more time for Rosie. And I heard you say it was your first time. Thank you so much for gracing our stage. I know you said you're nervous, but we all get nervous. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, and I still get nervous. One of the things that I always tell people, if you're nervous, the mentality that I get up on stage with to try to help deal with my nervousness is that I'm the shit. Everything I do is the shit. Not just that, but you are one of like 3 performers who were actually on the list that like showed up. So like you're already better than most people. You showed up. So thank you so much for not only like gracing our stage, but being brave and pushing past that nervousness to still share your piece. We really appreciate that. So let's give it up one more time for Rosie and for bravery. We love that here. Gang, 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 gang.
Thank you.
All right. And on deck, we have our feature. It's gonna blow your socks off. So if you don't want your socks blown off, take them off yourself. But on deck, we have our feature, Ashia Ajani. But coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to Tina.
Best friend. I'm so annoying. What's up, everybody? Good evening. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna do something old right quick. I haven't read this poem in a minute, but I feel like I really like it a lot. So, and I always find myself reciting it, even though I don't know the whole poem. I just find myself always reading the first 3 lines in my head, like, it's a good poem. The fool asks for a history lesson. Like every word ever uttered by your grandmother and her mother's tongue is reaching forward and you snap back, coiled away in resentment. Her voice, the white noise you dial to change to something more pleasant when it grows too loud. You sing has always hinged on deaf ears, absent of a proper interpretation. Like we use language to shape how we see the world. And so this is how I learned parts of us are omitted. A broken promise, threaded by blood. Only one person can't remember the pact. The magic is all gone. A myth. And then your words vibrate the way they used to, like you're so bitter at the sun for the warmth you cannot return. It's exhausting every last breath to remember its name. Forging someone else's legacy in your blood, fooling yourself into believing you have enough magic left in you to heal ancestral wounds. It's this feeling that hinges on severed lines and misplaced courage, a forgotten affirmation, all evidence of existence erased, like wasted time, the wrong tools, and incomplete spell work. So that was part 1 of that poem. That was The Fool Asked for a History Lesson. And this is The Fool Gives a History Lesson. When history continues to pull its marionette strings on me, I don't open my mouth to retell anything I've learned. I don't trust the truth it gives me. It feels like it's asking me to keep one foot in the future with a bottle of mezcal as my accomplice when the past is dancing on deteriorating floorboards. Over there, I piece the language my grandmother hardly uses with us on an alphabet that discriminates against twin tongues, but loves the taste of raw agave. This is what omission looks like. All the letters tug between both directions. Spiral in the wake of regret that shifts to perpetual rage, uncongealed like its source, from people that don't know how they wield the anger as much as it is a burden to remember. Colonialism is all too sobering. So count me to finish a 6-pack of beer on my own. Count me to feel invincible at the end of it and seek a second round. I've learned that this is the only way to pacify the anger. Cuando se me sube la sangre, all the stories you tell will be scorched in white, soaking indigenous tongue in Spanish. The colonizer's tongue, what good has that ever been to humanize brown flesh? You can only mourn so long. The act of grieving grows into a bottle. Everything eventually comes out a slur, a curse, a fatigue pulled the diaphragm. And rage isn't enough to keep time from moving forward, from erasing the little they had yet to kill of you. It's best to keep your ear grounded to a lifeline. Wrench yourself where time's hands cannot reach you. Your breath will still smell like spirits. Perhaps one day those ghosts will tell the stories you failed to learn. Awesome. I'm gonna do one more, if that's okay. I think this poem's really short. I'm gonna do one more.
I didn't hear the first one. I haven't heard that one before.
You haven't heard the first one?
No, shit, that's great. Why don't you do that one more often? Fuck.
Because it's usually 2 parts. Like those 2 poems that I read, they usually go well together.
Shit,
and
yeah.
And because they're kind of like the inverse of each other. And so that's why I never really do them both, because the second one's the longer one, and the first one's kind of hella short. So and even in the writing of each one, there's like a reference. There's lines that call from each other, from the title, I don't know, just the way I wrote them. It's like, okay, what if I'm asking for a history lesson? What if I'm giving one? Like, you know, is kind of like the concept behind that. And what that would look like when, you know, when language and history and all that shit is like unknown.
Look, if y'all want to analyze poetry that deep, come to our workshops.
Thank you. Shameless. Can I read one more before we head out?
Yes, you can read one more.
Yay. This one shout out to the hometown where my parents are from. This is for Cholula, Puebla. Yeah. Oh, to Cholula. They say there are no weapons allowed in the city, and that was enough reason to massacre. I think no one imagined that something would be left standing or made a mound of. Instead, the upchuck remains of something foreign. Everyone has a name for it. It doesn't fit in their molars. War songs are just prayers told in reverse. I wonder what skin was set aflame here, what hair was unbraided, what sun witnesses the unhappening of its people. The flint arrows chime in and say they were never fired. The blood was always labeled savage, made an animal of. Thus, inquisition must be inevitable. Something must be spilled to make way for the new. Not everything sacred is consecrated. Everything damned haunts language that commits the genocide. There are so many fields for the dead, all of them unhonored grave sites. Every temple turned to mound, every mound surmounted by a church, every church an arrival of a future no one consented to. How you taught not to speak lightly of blood. how reminiscence become a chain link to ancestry, how I learned to speak of the dead in past tense, how my skin is weaponized against me, how I am seeing nothing more than the life they twisted. I want to see myself at the end of their violence with unclenched fists and braided hair. Even in claiming my beauty, there is blood of mine I've been forced to wade through, just to end at the foothill of a church, just to climb over bodies, fall on my knees, and swear.
Oh shit, I almost forgot to unmute myself. Give it up one more time for Tina.
Gang, 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 gang.
And I would have a lot to say about the poetry, but I already said it like during the poetry. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this feature. On deck, we have the second half of our open mic, but coming up to the stage, we have a really amazing feature. Our feature is Ashia Ajani. I'm gonna read some of this bio and then just start like fanboying over Ashia. But Ashia Ajani, she is a storyteller and environmental educator hailing from Denver, Colorado, queen of the plains and the unceded territory of the Cheyenne, Ute, and Arapahoe peoples. They are a master's of environmental management candidate at Yale University and an abortion, birth / postpartum doula. She has been published in Frontier Poetry, World Literature Today, Sierra Magazine, and has forthcoming work in a Poem Journal and Exposition Review. Keep up to date with their work at Ashia in Bloom on social medias and at their website, Ashia Ajani. Yes, that's a .com. That's not a .us. That's not a .net. That's AshiaAjani.com. But Ashia is also a really good friend of mine. One of the few people who I would feel comfortable letting into my home. Like my mama hasn't even been into my home, but Ashia has been to my house. They are one of the most thoughtful people I see and that I know. Like we're all in a group chat that kind of died out, but every once in a while, and it's always Ashia who's just like, hey, thinking of y'all, sending my love, or just saying hey, or sharing something thoughtful. They're just a really all-around great person, and their poetry is absolutely dope. So I'm gonna let their poetry speak more for them. So give maximum love to our feature of the night, Ashia Ajani.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. That's my friend. That's my friend. That's my friend. That's not us.
Is that AshiaAjani.com?
That's
That was
Dr.
honestly the nicest
AshiaAjani.com.
intro that I've ever gotten. That was so sweet. My heart is like so happy right now. Oh my God. It's just like coronavirus. It really be taken from us in so many ways. And to just hear, like the love that is present and that is ongoing, it's so needed. So I really appreciate that. And I'm like sending that love tenfold back to y'all and tenfold back to everybody who's tuning in. I really appreciate it. Especially on a Tuesday night. Let's get it popping. Let's do some poems. So this one, speaking of, COVID-19, this pandemic, I feel like it's really important to articulate that it has taken a lot from us, mentally, spiritually, physically, people-wise, like emotionally. And I think naming that as frequently as possible is so important, so that people don't forget, because like this has changed the course of our lives, like in so many different ways, and to like not acknowledge that, I think is like really fucked up. So I do want to acknowledge that. This poem I wrote kind of like I think it was like kind of like, remember like back last March where like we were like, oh this shit only gonna last for like 3 weeks, we're gonna be on like a 2-week lockdown, everything gonna be fine. And then around like June we were like, okay, this is here to stay. So this poem I wrote around that time, when I was probably smoking way too much, but also just thinking about like all of the heaviness that I had not been able to like express in my heart, and this was my way of expressing that heaviness. This poem is called "The Plug Won't," and it is after a song by Mickey Blanco, who is one of my favorite rappers. I grease myself with lip gloss and lotion, and perhaps a little blush will conjure color courage to go sit in this nigga's Honda for the 3rd time in 2 weeks. The weed man is the only man to ever see me with my scarf on. I dip and toe a green line. The intimacy of purchase lingers once on my lips. Yes, this too is heady. In the evening time, I upcycle heartbreak. Try on a new facade of sexy cool meant to bring back bliss. Eyes low, I coax memory to rewrite itself through a wrapped fatty and weighty conversations like, did you know so-and-so died? Did you hear about? Have you gone? Where is the he didn't deserve? I had to leave. I couldn't stand another moment. Rent done gone up another 175. So let me get a half ounce of anything that will pull my mind back from the brink of no return. Eager to oblige. Weed Man hands me a bag of indigo to evince a night sky from beyond my wildest emptiness. Both of us black and hustling, rife with dreams of soulmates evergreen. This be an elegiac alliance. Heartache notwithstanding, he speaks my way with an upward cadence. Lovers come and go, but this is something sacred. I don't know where my paycheck ends and his begins, but I love the idea of being tethered to something. I am a shapeshifter eroded by grief. Render my tenement hollow, let the fullness of me idle below unceded frontier set to conquer. I call myself a before, simply ungrounded. How I began, not like this. Thank you. That's the first one. I have really recently been writing like a lot of like afters. Like, so I've been listening to a lot of really dope femme and trans and gender non-conforming artists. And low key, okay, this might be my little non-binary heart reading a little bit too much into it, but Baby Mother was talking about how like she doesn't really ID with like womanhood, and I was just like, you part of the crew yet, Baby Mother? So this poem is after Roaches Don't Die, which is one of my favorite songs by Baby Mother. Y'all should listen to it. It's just like really dope. And if y'all aren't familiar with it, actually, no, you know what I realized? Like, I realize this is really important to not be sharing Black folks' business with non-Black people. So I'm not gonna go into the meaning of like what Roaches Don't Die means. So I think I'm gonna let the poem speak for itself. This is for all the beautiful Black people in my life and who have to deal with issues of injustice and disrespect and racism and white supremacy and bigotry, but also in the form of environmental violence and climate injustice. So going out to all my people dealing with that. This is the Roaches Don't Die remix, after Baby Mother. And like a clavoidea socialis, I wear my spine on the outside. I burrow my burdens, my desires, save a little bit of everything sticky sweet that crotches me. Bitch, I'm gross. Memory of survival beats against my brain. Fuck it. So what if I hoard? Savage, salvaging to recall the drought, yet fear the flood. Nah, it ain't my first time in the jungle. Crunchy little brown skin, I'm known to get real niggerish to defend mines. No matter, the genealogical wounds down here speak in tongues ancient and plenty. Black stains everything. Black adds depth. Black refuses to remove and remains imprinted, ink down here for all eternity. You won't forget me. Matter of fact, I'll take my gifts with me. Egress in its egregious immensity, sulks in the depths of my soul, built from a bloodline drenched in seawater, made full by black-eyed peas and pig fat, thicker than a Chattanooga drawl just arisen to an early dawn of longing. Even frostbite is afraid of me. I crisp, I tone, I linger. I follow the midnight voices christening me darky, black bottom, baby girl. This life is too damn short for any kind of embarrassment, self-imposed or otherwise. So you better shake your ass in the mirror so those thigh cramps remind you of all the life running through your muscles, all the vermilion rage pounding at your rib cage, all the spine you have left to carry. Thank you. Get a little bit of water. This next poem, I wrote this. It was kind of like, I guess, silly, maybe is the correct word, that the way it came about. I was talking to one of my friends, and almost always like after like I'm talking to one of my friends and they tell me really anything that they're dealing with, like whether it be like little or big. I say, well, I'm gonna pray for you. And I mean it, I really do. But she was like, you know that when Black folks say I'm gonna pray for you, like that is the prayer, right? Like, I understand if you're not gonna do anything else. So it was just like thinking about that and what that means, and what like it means to contain so much magic and so much praise and joy and just sheer magic in your spirit. I was thinking about that when I wrote this next one. So this poem is entitled, When Black People Say I'm gonna pray for you, that is the prayer. I cannot spare more magic, lest you take me for a mule. Sapphire that I am, spinning gold from grain, beholden to a spirit of my own protection, I am a charlatan of boundless desire. Yes, my energy be that thick, be that heavy, a potent protection against those who wish to distill my invocation into a lustful praise, and take, and take, and take, until I am a sullen shell. True, my magic is rarer than a passion fruit swisher, is weighty, a divinity of longing swells through my fingers. God bless this mess, this brouhaha, this wild encounter of flesh and spirit. Long burdened by the rust of misuse, I have my own charges to bear. In the soot and ruin of Black girl magic, herein lies the problem of my wanton flesh. Those who only see us as clusters of hurt, a trickle-down resilience sought for seizure. I banish and bruise. I hold grudges. If that illustrates me evil, I accept the fire and the hell of my own creation. Always, I guard what is mine. I cannot allow my body to be another site of ruin from misplaced faith. Forgive me, there is nothing light to give. So Colin just said that he ain't never seen a passion fruit swisher. So I hate this. This is an issue that I have. I think it was Bubble Yum. They did like a partnership with LeBron James, and they had the best. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but they had the best bubble gum. It was like, I think it was like cherry lemonade flavor. And when they do these limited editions of products, like these limited runs, it pisses me off like no other. And I know it's supposed to be a whole thing of like, oh my God, like, you know, this is rare. This is like a treat. Like, this is like get it while it lasts, you know, don't do that. Don't do that to people. That irritates me more than anything. If anybody can find some of these Bubble Yum, LeBron James, cherry lemonade gums, like, I will love you. I will marry you. Like, I'm tired of the limited release stuff. Keep it consistent, people. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. Point of issue for me. So a lot of my work centers around like environmental themes, and specifically how like the Black diaspora has learned how to cope and engage with specifically environment in the Americas, and the interesting cultural and spiritual and just even honestly violent and traumatic exchange between the environment and between Black folks. And I've been thinking a lot just like about like algal blooms. So I don't know if people are familiar with like algal blooms, but it's like when it's like nasty, like just like algae, and it's like all green and gunky. Sometimes it can be like pink, like it depends on like what the kind of algae is, but it's like scum that's kind of like on top of a lake. And it happens when a lake is like oversaturated with nutrients. So usually when there's like too much fertilizer nearby, like fertilizer runoff, or like that's usually what happens to the algal bloom. And so I was thinking about nutrients, overindulgence of nutrients, overindulgence, America. So this poem is called Algal Bloom. At the surface is America, an algal bloom of excess, attempts to pull heaven from an ethno state of sorrow. We live down here. Orchestrated hypoxia, our lungs haggard through biomanipulation, runoff suffocates. The metaphor ends here, eutrophy. Nutrients spill over, deadly trickle down, too much of a decadent thing discarded. Their rage seeps into our ranks, our soil, poisoned, No night complete without pondering imperialism. Fascinated by the trajectory of grief, how easy it proliferates. Unquenchable, sludge rich with decay, a latent darkness rendered stagnant. All the water got the aftertaste of kin blood. Thank you. This next one is a little bit longer, and I think it probably is a piece that's like a little bit more familiar to folks in my circle and folks who have like heard me read before. This poem, I'm so sorry, y'all. My cat has like the zoomies right now because I'm still up, and she is doing her thing. If y'all can hear that in the background, I apologize. Working from home life. But this poem is called Chismosa. A chismosa is a gossip, often used to describe nosy people, women specifically, who simply enjoy the exchange, processing, and creation of new information. Also known as a magpie, also known as a chatterbox, also known as a bitch, cunt, loudmouth. The roots of the English word for gossip are god and sib, originally meaning godparent, originally meaning someone not within the nuclear family who took an interest in your upbringing and personal development, originally meaning spiritual guide, protector, and mentor. I was birthed into a circle of gossips, raised by chismosas. This is how I learned safety. In my neighborhood, someone knows where you are at all times, what you're doing, what you're supposed to be doing, and your mama's contact information. Before cell phones made their mark, we spent our childhoods dodging Miss Shirley's watchful eye, crowded in the kitchen pretending not to listen to grown folks' business, soaking up all the tea spilled over afternoon cafecitos. This is how we earned hood scholarship. News passes around the neighborhood faster than it can come into existence. Be careful with your business. Nothing gets past an old Black lady with too much time on her hands and too much church in her spirit. Did you know Dee's husband got shot on the corner of Federal and 24th? Ernesto beat his wife within an inch of her life. She stuffs crumpled dollar bills in the couch cushions now. The city came and swept up the memorial for those 5 missing girls. Everyone thought it was some dumbass kids, but no, the state doesn't like our grief to be displayed in the open. Pam died and the bank immediately seized her property. How could they be so cruel? The world takes from us in too many ways. You think our entire existence is being foreclosed on. During the early days of this new blood-drenched nation, slave owners would put a muzzle made of leather and metal on enslaved females, a device that would lacerate the tongue if they dared to speak. The fear of a woman's words so ingrained they had to pluck it away at the root. Fast forward 400 years and we done got too mouthy now. Funny how we speak like we got something worth saying. Muzzles have turned into rope, have turned into bullets, have turned into missing persons reports, bled into dust. This white hand over Black mouths be the death of my kinfolk, passing off chisme as mindless dribble. We keep alive past histories the nation state would rather we forget. At least we have our tongues. At least I have my loud mouth and I will use it whenever I damn well please. White America takes Black and brown speech and makes it animal, unintelligible. Says your voice doesn't matter here. Says I don't believe you. Asks where's your proof. Says it must not be that bad. Calls you savage for speaking your mind. Says shut up you Black bitch. Says bring back the muzzle. Says why won't you just be quiet? I grew up honoring gossip as sacrament. I am an open heart, ready to take in the Lord's body and all the wisdom dropped between the cracks of so ordained development. When you call me a chismosa, I say I am keeping my people safe the best way I know how. Always watching, harboring memories left on the tip of the tongue. I am dark and alive and alive and alive. As long as I have this breath, I will use it. Hey, okay, so this is going to be my next to last piece, another after. I've been thinking a lot about Fannie Lou Hamer and her legacy as a voting rights activist, as just like a badass woman who put together cooperative farm for Black folks in the deep South, and the amazing work and the amazing legacy that she went behind. So this next poem that I have is called Porch. And it is after a Fannie Lou Hamer quote. Is probably one of my favorite quotes of hers, and it's not as well known as some of her other ones. But the quote is, I keep a shotgun in every corner of my bedroom, and the first cracker even looks like he want to throw some dynamite on my porch, won't write his mama again. I keep a piece of myself on the porch. Don't test me. I have had everything ripped from my flesh and still fix my gums to smile at those who wish me harm. Don't try it. I am a nigga who comes from niggas, and as such, I do not play. This body owns nothing, exists everywhere. You can't kill me. All the fullness in the world collides within my frame. A grand unraveling nether weathers me. Can you say the same? My love shatters anything that has tried to cause me home. Ceremony predates survival, so leave my flowers at the doorstep and dance until your heart bursts into 1,000 new iterations of godliness. Fill my cup with lilac wine, where one can pull a Nina croon through the window until a swan song of rage fills the walls and covers me in honeysuckle rose. Give me all that I desire or nothing at all. I want a new wig. I want a plot of land. I want a small wind that carries me through the rest of forever. I am owed at least that. This last poem is me showing my corny side. I am currently not seeing anybody, but when I was seeing this person, oh my God, oh, you know that love that just like makes you like, it makes you feel everything is possible. It makes you feel everything is real. This is about that. I like to end on this poem because it's like a sappy little like cutesy love poem, but it also talked about how important love is to like queer and non-binary and trans Black and brown people, and what feeling like that genuine love really does for us, and how it uplifts us and carries us forward and keeps us going. So my love to y'all, my queer Black love to y'all, hoping to get some back, and just wishing y'all so much love we deserve. My Spanish has chewed its fingernails off and can no longer climb out of my mouth the way it used to. And it sounds like a whiny child lost in a sea of inflections, a dialect unknown to my ears, but locked away in my soul. And then there was you. There is something about brown eyes that makes them unforgettable. There is something about brown skin that makes you think of home and all of the treasures you have lost and the ones that must and should and will be reclaimed. In this bed, we speak the idioms of Nahuatl and ocean, our hearts unbridled by the burden of language, making space for our tongues to engage in more urgent matters. The only sounds that emerge cannot be uttered in good company. My body gasping, I need you to love me a little louder. I need you to love me with your hands. I need you to love the parts this narrow white world cannot make sense of. Our stories are caught between missionary church containing the wildness of our spirits, how they beat the native savages to cleanse the pure soul trapped under all that primitive lust, our own internalized shame creeping from the belly of forgotten history. We are but products of our environments. Here, we are witness to our own abstraction. What pieces of art can be made from this entanglement of limbs? Let me show you how these hips move like watercolor, how my teeth can shine like marble under an unclothed sky, how the eyes soften like fertile soil. A part of me has walked this land before and has known its ridges and flaws without pause or remorse. Those who wish to murder the past ask that we wear our shadows lightly, but the hell that rattles in our vocal cords demands attention, demands that we return home. Tell me, what is more beautiful than a brown body in the aftershock of climax? The earth's motion ruptures every time you dare utter your pleasure. Marvel at how it spills from your throat like sugar cane. You and I are both products of a colonial past insistent upon denying us our pleasure. Our ancestral sorrow runs through our veins like sludge. All we know is take, but here we are, you and I, folding back into the joy our forebears knew unapologetically. And doesn't it feel good to be loved like this? Before rejecting beauty, before despising the body, before the binaries told us we couldn't exist, in needing the folds, in celebration of my nappy hair and your tall brown body, know that every time we fuck, it is a big middle finger to the powers the powers that want us to pretend we know nothing of the magic that lingers in our flesh. Every time our tips touch, it is a song calling back to homelands buried deep beneath the industrial concrete. And can't you hear the foundation's sake? We, both sites of both promise and ruin, Can't you hear Atabe weep tears of yucca and joy at our most glorious creation? Thank you so much, Oakland Slam, for having me. I had a wonderful time, and I hope that you enjoyed my poem.
Oh my gosh. Where can people find you? Do you have a book? How can people give you money?
Currently working on it. Venmo is always great. My Venmo is my name, Ashia Ajani. Cash App, I'm Ashia and Bloom. Tips are always much appreciated, and just like support my work. I got some videos out. Read my work that's online. And just keep supporting me and and also just like be sending money to Black trans folks. Because I don't like that. Some of y'all got a little bit too much money for my comfort. So make sure you're redistributing some of your funds, because I be seeing some of y'all's habits, and it makes me uncomfortable. So you need to work on some of that redistribution too. That's another way to help me.
You heard it here first, y'all. Let's give one more round of applause for our amazing feature, Ashia Ajani. Ooh, I don't know how I'm supposed to host after all that. That was, hit my soul, but we will push through. So we have another half of a show. The rest of our show looks like the Hip Hop Prophet, followed by Reggie, and then Colin. So on deck, we have Reggie, but coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to Mr. Tiny Bus Concert himself, the Hip Hop Prophet.
What's up, everybody? Can you hear me okay?
Hey,
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, cool. I'm gonna have to keep my voice down or else the sound will get messed up. I did not come prepared, so I'll do some shit that I have memorized. The youth are getting there stoned in the booth and staring at her reflection. We about to spark an insurrection. No disrespects to President-elect. You selling us a message in the planet-sized recession with no medicine, so fuck you, brethren. Thanks to you, the corporations take aim at us. The world ends in a month and ain't nobody can save us. I'm tired of all this hurting and anguish. And what's worse is I'm thankful, though. Every breath is like a surge to the pancreas. I know people doing felonies to get through the week. Fuck it. Who can blame them? They suffered thus the melodies deep. I was raised on the south side where the villain is king and God is his holy power which delivers the sting. Yo, my youth was one of knowledge of the pleasures of streets. Before I speak, give me a second to speak, because I refuse to be meek. Imagine you being pulled from a creek for you refusing the illusion of peace. Yo, whenever the devil cries, it's never because several died. Freedom seems to an Egyptian embezzled, and rebel skies let the trouble rise. Basically, fellows with mellow eyes and yellow thighs talk of peace. But for third, we weaponize. There's never pride that makes us brazen. Our leaders are on the bench, for clever minds that don't destruction and capture the souls of men. When the winner's toast is open, ghetto hopelessness is potent. Listen up, because I'm going to supply you with the potion before a drone hits. With the persistence of a predator loan, automatic precision snipers make sure you'll never see home. Like the debt that you put us in with prove deception at home. Your lecture don't change the truth, dog. You neglected your own, so let the record be shown. If you target the facts, the government just waged the war. Freedom's the heart of attack. They raped and poisoned the land till nature sanded the coast by hurricane. Unfazed, they left the masses and goats to be brazen and flames and dangerous. I get the spirit when good records play. That's my nutrition. This existence is a war of breeds attrition. There's no spoilers for the victims in my city. And it's exceeding witty to shove our corporation about the politicians. It's hard to excel when inhalation is going to poison your lungs. This is hell. They use pollution to unmoisten the tongue. Free speech is debt to them. So the host of the sun will silence you and bait forgotten and let's open the stem. See, if you think about it, communists make patriot acts. I'm a raider. I pray the day that Pope gets dirty as sex. You fumbled so many lives, I wish your baby's attacked. But why is it you love misplacing the facts? You really dangerous track. My words reverberate like twisted sonic weaponry, making profits infidelity, revealing every PO false manifest destiny for reproduction, to get revenge for your oppression, revert to discovery.
All right, Prophet. There were points we couldn't hear you because I think your mask was specifically like starting to cover the microphone on your headphones. So there were a couple of points where I'm just like, damn, this is a chopped and screwed version. But you made it work. That's what happens when we have a tiny bus stop concert. Yes, Prophet is at the bus stop because we don't do poetry. We are poetry. We are poetry at the bus stop. We are poetry at home. We are poetry out on stage. We are poetry everywhere. So thank you for bringing us poetry on the street. And you know, sometimes street shit happens.
I ain't gonna lie, yo. I feel revolutionary. This is the first time I ever heard of a bus stop Tiny Desk concert.
You saw it here first. The first Tiny Desk concert at a bus stop in the history of Tiny Desk concerts. I think that might be copyrighted. Do not quote us on that. Do not quote us on that.
Tiny bus, not tiny desk. Tiny bus, not tiny desk.
Tiny bus concert. It's a tiny bus concert, not Tiny Desk. In case the feds are listening. But imagine us out of anybody getting sued by NPR. That would suck. Don't y'all have better shit to do than to sue the Oakland Slam? But we have a whole rest of the show. So on deck, we have Colin. I wonder who that is. But coming up to the stage, give maximum love to our second to last poet, which I have been told can be called the penultimate. You know what? Second to last, y'all. This is the second to last poet. Give it up for Reggie.
That's my nigga.
So this is the third time you done started talking and you were muted. Third time today. For the record, for everybody online, this is the third time Reggie has been on a phone call or a Zoom meeting today and was completely muted while talking.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say that as soon as you stumbled on saying penultimate, the only thing that went through my mind is like, I guess you unhooked that phonics.
Disrespectful.
You started talking shit first. So you just, is you mad that I said something, or are you mad that I had something on deck?
Yes.
But I have 3 poems for y'all. The first one is relatively short, but it's one of my favorite poems that I've written, so I'm gonna do it. And it's called Cotton Coffin. If all the coffins on the plantation were lined with cotton, and all the corpses picked the cotton, then all the fields buried themselves with their gardeners, and the blood that watered the roots finally made it back home to comfort the body. When the fields bled out our names, the soft of the casket was already a ghost, because what else is better to hold the Black body than what grows from its very spillage? A child should always bury its parents. And if all the cotton seeds birth new plants, then all the new plants carry old blood. And a great-great-grandfather softens under a great-great-grandson, because even in death, it has always been us that holds us. A son buries a father, and the cloth of his bloodline is buried with his son. Somewhere in the deep South, I have a coffin full of someone else's blood. Somewhere there is a field of cotton mourning. That's my first piece. And then I have 2 pieces that are about water. It's interesting because all the fire signs I know write about water. Every last one of them has a poem that has some sort of water metaphor. So I have 2 poems that have to do with water. The sea is a vengeful spirit. I know because I have sat on every beach and heard it whisper of blood and forced migration. There is a bad omen on the wind. Typhoons speak of rage. Hurricanes speak of conquest, throwing children overboard. When the Atlantic spills herself into the blackest parts of the South, that is no act of God. That is not a natural disaster. It is a lineage of violence emerging from the depths that drowns my people. It is a legacy of neglect that bursts the levees. Only a graveyard could whip up a storm with that much death swelling the tide past its boundary. So believe me, the ocean came to finish what America started. But where do I return to if not the ocean? If my country drowned home out of my vocabulary and made a beach of my mouth, then my tongue is too heavy to float in this language. So where do I return to if not the salt in the sand? When everything starts to erode away, you can get to the root of grief. For instance, my mother will cry if you ask her about her mother, or this country will riot when you ask it about who it truly believes in. We crossed an ocean's worth of blood, so death must return to the Atlantic. Dead bodies cannot return home, so ancestors cannot undrown or uncrowd a slave ship. The ocean has never been vengeful. It is obedient. America said, open your mouth, and it swallowed a country of ghosts. I asked it to show me it's dead, and the currents turned to blood. Where do I return to if not all that has failed to kill us? My lungs swallowed the ocean, and I did not die. I coughed up every body lost to the tide and did not find home buried in the sand. Home is whatever calls me back to everything I have lost while drowning. Everything that tries to hold me becomes water. Even my mother's hands, her voice cresting, my body breaking when she tells me I was made to float. So that's the first poem about water. And so the second poem, for context, I grew up hardcore Christian, and then I ended up being gay, and that fucks up a kid a little bit. But there's always been a specific relationship in the Bible that has intrigued me, just because of the level of intimacy and trust and love that these two people have for each other. And I've always made a little joke about it. In the Bible, one of the disciples, Peter, is called Jesus's special friend. And in the Black community, that is your gay lover that nobody wants to acknowledge, but everybody has to speak about. That's Johnny's little friend, or that's Johnny's roommate. So I read that once and I was like, okay, Jesus is gay. So I decided to write a poem from the perspective of Peter when Jesus walked on water and then called Peter to walk towards him. I have so little faith. I warned you about the storm. I spoke of the wind and the waves that could drown a whole ship in its doubt. I coughed up an ocean of regret when you forced me to come with you, but you brought me back to my feet when I was drowning. You slapped the air back into my lungs when all I could taste was the salt of my own fear. Look at me, you said, as if it was okay to be afraid as long as you were there. It was not the waves that held me up. It was love. It was my weight pouring into the solidity of your body and not dissolving into sea foam. Love only exists in what trust has already created. So when I close my eyes, all I see are all the ways I could die without you anchoring me here. When you still my heart and open my eyes, all I see is God. Love is its own miracle. I am standing on nothing and walking on everything. Is that not faith? Is that not belief in something greater than myself? When I call to you in the darkest moments, all I hear back is a man that wants me as much as I want him. Your voice is the wind and the rain and the rise and fall of the tide. Your arms, the currents that held tight and never let go. Thank you.
All right, give it up one more time for Reggie. Woo! Water references. It was like some wavy vibes. That was really nice. I fucks with it. I'm not gonna give you too much props because you're my twin, and that would be admitting you're the better twin. So no, I'm not gonna give you that too. Nah. But
I am the better twin.
On deck, we have going home, or we're already home. So I guess getting off of a live stream, because it will be the end of this show. But coming up to the stage right now, give it up for your last poet of the slam. Give it up for Colin. Woo!
Who's that? Who's
I'm
calling?
just kidding. It's me. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do one poem. I'm from a cemetery where the dirt is constantly filled with lead and flesh. Empty midnight streets echo the voice of a boy whose face you can't quite remember. I mean, I have forgotten what my childhood friend looks like. His name becomes too hard to pronounce, and now I'm only able to place singular features on the faces of his family members, like how his brother got the same eyes. His mother got the same nose and smile. His cousin caught the same bullet. I'm telling you, I see ghosts in the face of the living. I hear them cackling in empty hallways, their laughter, stray bullets and shattered glass. When he died, we planted a tree in his honor at our high school. And now his only legacy has withered into the soil, a patch of dirt, a tombstone. Have you ever watched someone die twice? Watched as your last memories turn to ashes, lost in the wind? How do you mourn something so easily blown away? And now even his name is rotting in the back of my throat. Some days, memories are the only thing keeping him alive. Other days, I count the forgotten times as another death. Call myself a murderer. I am still hiding bodies. I keep digging new graves for him on my tongue, but they never seem deep enough. The slightest resemblance on a stranger exhumes his tomb, shows me his bones, but I swallow them before I can let his name burn the tip of my tongue. I live in a graveyard of my own making. A cemetery of forgotten names, the bodies always calling out to mind, the weight of their cries weighing me down, sinking me into the soil. I mean, I know one day I will be buried here too. Someone else would choke on my name, bury my bones in an unmarked grave at the back of their throat. I know there will always be another grave to dig, more flowers to place, another name to forget. There will always be another cemetery with someone burying more bodies than they want to remember, more bodies than they could ever forget. Thank you. All right, give it up for that last poet, Colin. I don't know about you, but that dude was kind of ugly. Poetry was cool or whatever, but that dude was kind of ugly. I'm just kidding, it's me. But I would like to give a special thank you to Nicole, to Casey, to Rosie, to Tino, to our feature Ashia, to Reggie, to Prophet, to everybody who has performed tonight, to everybody in the background who makes the show, who makes all of our shows happen. Thank you to Chardonnay and Arvin, and Jordan, who's always getting us grants. Thank you to Jordan. Thank you all so much for helping making this show happen. And most importantly, thank y'all. If y'all love this show, we are not the only show run by Rich Oak Events. Rich Oak Events, we also run the Berkeley Slam, which is every Wednesday. Hey, wait, Wednesday is tomorrow. Yes, every Wednesday on Zoom, we have another Poetry Slam, the Berkeley Poetry Slam. Tomorrow, our feature is Jari Bradley. It's gonna be an amazing night. Our sign-up lists are still open. So if you check out our Instagram at Berkeley Slam or our Facebook, the Berkeley Poetry Slam, our sign-up lists are in the description. So if you missed tonight and you wanna perform tomorrow, go ahead, hit that young sign-up list. Poets, I do believe Reggie will be putting the sign-up list in the comment section if you want to sign up for tomorrow's show. Every first and third Saturday is the Rich Oak Alchemy Open Mic. We have a show this Saturday as well. That is on Instagram Live. So check out our Instagram for more information about that. Our sign-up list is also going to be up on Instagram the day of. Other shows that are happening every, I think it's second Sunday is San Jose Slam. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. Second Sunday.
Yes, which means it already passed.
You said what?
Yes.
Second Sunday. Every second Sunday is the San Jose Poetry Slam. They also operate on Zoom. Check them out at the San Jose Poetry Slam. They're really great. And if y'all know of any more open mics and shows that are going on, please let us know. We're always looking for more venues to support, places where we can send poets, places where we can perform, because we often don't get a chance to perform our own shows. But we also have writing workshops before all of our shows. And if you like any of this, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/richoakevents. There you can sign up to help support our workshops, help support our venues, help support our poets. And it really does help keep this community that we've been fostering for a year in this pandemic world, keep it going strong, and even better when we're able to have live events. But without further ado, we have come to the end of our show. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everybody for performing. We will see y'all next time.